Hey, don't even call me when Bunny come on in the club. Don't even call me for pills, I don't wanna plug. I gotta run of these mills, the rest is a dub. Please do not call me when you in some need of some love. It's what it did, but fuck what it was. Truthfully, shit wasn't even that deep. I had your friend in the same B&B. You got too faded and you wanna sleep. You was a thought that you wasn't for me. Wouldn't be lit if it wasn't for me. You in the city with nigga that's really my kids. You think that you fucking with me. And that's for life.
Welcome to the Poolside Podcast. My name is PREZ.
And I'm the heavy hitter DJ Hollywood KO.
If you're on the YouTube channel right now, I need you to like, I need you to subscribe, I need you to comment, I need you to hit that notification button.
It's free, right?
It's free 99,
It costs you nothing to do that, man. Support the podcast, Poolside Podcast, PREZ, Hollywood KO.
Of course,
and today,
of course,
right?
it's direct.
My dog is back.
He's not back. He never went nowhere.
Man, he was on a little vacation, but
he's back.
I'm happy to have him back. Clipz is in the fucking building. The shooter.
We got the amazing sound man in the building, Forever Studios.
That's right, my dog G-Co. And we got our guest, my dog, Bizzy Crook, is in the motherfucking building. In the pool. In the pool, not in the building, in the pool.
In the pool side.
But you know what it is, man, Bizzy Crook.
My God, what's up, man?
Yeah, I just want to say I appreciate you for taking your time out. And,
thank y'all for having me.
I know you've been running around everywhere. I seen you just got back from a show out of town. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad I caught you in the midst of fucking Rolling Loud weekend, right before you performed there.
It's family, man, so I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you, bro, again. Let's start off by, let's tell the viewers where you from, like where you was born and where you was raised at.
Okay, so I was born in Miami. After Miami, I moved to Egypt. Moved to Egypt, and then I moved back. I moved to Broward.
How long you was in Egypt for?
I was in Egypt for about 2 years.
How old
you left as a jit, though?
I was probably from like 8 to 10 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you remember Egypt?
Yeah, I remember Egypt. Yeah, hell yeah.
I was gonna punk my brother Hollywood today and ask him.
He asked me a question,
on camera.
He asked me because it was.
Let me ask you.
Go ahead.
Because you was today years old when you found out anyway.
I was today years old when I found out.
I asked him what continent is Egypt in.
It's Africa.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was today years old when I learned that.
He thought it was Asia.
I thought it was Asia. I'm going to keep it real. I'm not a fucking geological guy.
But I want you to talk to us about Egypt, man. Your experience over there.
Yeah. When I lived there, it was tensions. It was already tension. I was too young to understand.
Right.
But I know when I used to go to school, my parents would just tell me not to say I was American. I think I had to say I was from France or some shit like that.
So you had to lie.
I had to lie. My mom was just always like, yo, don't ever say you're American.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand why. I'm just like, all right.
Right, you was a kid. What grade you was in?
It's different over there, but I was out there for like kindergarten and first grade. But the schools was advanced, man. I was learning like Arabic.
Right.
In like kindergarten, Arabic, French, and Spanish.
At the same time.
Yeah. And I was learning and like I was able to start to have conversations.
But you already had English down pat.
My father was a bodyguard for the Prince of Saudi Arabia that was living in Egypt.
Sheesh.
The Prince and the Princess.
Right.
So that's when we lived out there. And again, it was just certain things I didn't understand until later in life. Like, part of the reason we left is because, like Osama bin Laden was literally like making threats against us.
Right.
So yeah, shit was bugged out.
When you say against us, what do you mean by that?
Against the family that my father protected, against the whole staff. He was just...
Was y'all practicing religion?
Pardon?
Was y'all practicing religion?
At the time, I got into Islam later.
Okay.
But I don't know if I was practicing Islam. Actually, I think I was.
Okay.
I think I was, but I think it was more so to blend in. And,
Right.
But I actually got into Islam a lot later.
We're all born to be Muslims, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're gonna teach Hollywood about that sooner or later.
I believe in higher power.
Yeah, it's cool.
Bizzy Crook.
Mm-hmm.
The name.
Yeah.
Where does it come from?
Man, I'm not proud to say, but I grew up around a lot of Brooklyn guys. I lived in the middle of nowhere, this small city called Cape Coral. And, you know, I was connected with some of the Brooklyn guys, some of the top dogs, and, you know, they rocked with me, and, you know, they started sending me pieces, and I would go in the field and I would get busy.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was always kind of like the leader amongst my friends, like always coming up with like shit I had no business coming up with, you know?
Right.
So the name just kind of stuck. You know, the older guys would be like, hey, man, Bizzy Crook, I'm always plotting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fair to say you was a troubled youth.
Yeah, yeah, it's an understatement.
You caught your first gun charge when you was 12.
Yeah.
You spent some time in juvenile.
I got caught, my mother caught me with a gun when I was 12 that she ended up throwing away. But I didn't get arrested with a gun until I was 16.
So that's when you caught.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You still a juvenile?
Yeah, I was still a juvenile.
So you did some juvenile
you know,
time.
in Florida, the max that they can hold you as a juvenile is 21 days. So I did.
Damn, you was
That's
12
it?
with it? You got caught.
Yeah.
Your mom caught you?
Because, you know, my pops had guns all over the house.
Right.
So, you know, I was
So you
just,
took them shits outside?
Yeah, I'm always like, yo, telling my friends, yo, we gonna hit it. You feel me? Like, and I came from
Had
a
that
good
shit on them.
I came from a good home. I had no reason to do that, you know?
Yeah.
So that's just how, now I look back at life and I was just like, yo, what was really wrong with me? You know?
What would you tell a 16-year-old teenager in 2023 who's, you know, these kids is active.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they film, they
Yeah.
talk about it on records, what they be
Yeah.
doing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you knowing what you went through and how it affected your life as a teenager, what would you tell a 16-year-old up-and-coming Bizzy Crook
Today.
acting crazy?
Stop seeking validation.
Right.
You know, validation is usually the root of
That's a fact.
everything.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
You know, why they go hit licks, why they want the material things. It's either to impress the girl or the guy, or, you know, they want love from the big homie, and it's just like, you know, stop seeking validation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's facts.
So moving on up. At the age of 18, you signed a deal with Mona Scott, the legendary Mona Scott.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how that went and how did it come about?
So
Like, how did you meet her?
At 18 years old, I signed a management deal with Mona Scott. I met her through my guy, Don Quan, who was actually one of my big homies in Brooklyn.
Shout out to him.
And I was in high school, man. I got the deal with Mona without even meeting her. I think he went to her office and was just texting me, like, yo, you got the deal. And the shit just came through the fax. You know,
That's dope.
my mom paid a lawyer to read it. The lawyer sent notes, and we were signing it anyway. So
Right,
What kind of deal did you sign with?
it was a management deal.
Okay.
It was a management deal, but Mona was gangster, man. Like, I wasn't ready for Mona. Like,
She's a legend.
She, you know, one thing about Mona, she gonna get it, boy. She
Yeah.
hustle her ass off.
Yeah.
yeah, I could definitely say I wasn't ready, man. I was in I had a girlfriend at the time. You know, like that girl that like fucks you up.
Yeah.
You
You got a
can't-
toxic
So,
girlfriend.
you know, I'm on my way to New York. Like, I
I
get
mean, he
out
was
of school.
18 years old, so.
Yeah, I get out of school, Mona's like, yo, you got to be in New York, 2 p.m., we're going to Atlantic.
Right.
And, you know, I'm arguing with my girl. My girl, like, if you get that deal, I'm going to break up with you.
Damn.
And I'm, like, on the plane, stressed up. You know, I take off.
Right.
I get that text. You lose Wi-Fi, bro. I'm on the plane. I can't even sleep.
Sheesh.
I can't even text her. I can't buy no Wi-Fi. I land. You feel me? My head all fucked up, you know. So it was a time. I was so stressed about that. We went to a meeting at, I think, E1. And we're waiting in the lobby, and I had found, like, a dude she was talking to. And I walked away, and I'm crying on the phone with her. How could you do this to me? Long story short, I ended up missing the meeting. I was gone for like 3 hours.
Well, that's why she was acting the way she was acting,
And-
because she was doing
And
her.
Mona Scott pulled me, and she's like, yo, you either break up with this girl or I can't manage you no more.
Don't tell me you chose the girl.
Nah, I mean, I told her, what I told her? Nah, I told her, you know, I'm gonna lead a girl, but I didn't. And I think just a lot of that, she kind of seen that it wasn't time yet.
Yeah. That's a toxic.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
super
man.
toxic situation.
Crazy.
That's a crazy motherfucking situation. Right?
I was gone for 3 hours, bro. I had a
Was she Dominican?
yeah.
Of course she was. You see, I still telling you.
Yeah.
I told you,
Yeah.
man.
Man.
Puerto Rican women
She
are
was-
better?
No, they're crazy.
All right, then. So
They're
what you
super
talking
crazy.
about?
Give me some of your artists that inspired you to do music.
Artists that inspired me to do music. Well, you know, that was interchanging.
Yeah, of course.
As I got older, but in the very beginning, Eminem,
Okay.
Ja Rule.
How old were you when you first listened to Eminem?
Man, I was probably like 8 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, my older cousin. You know, we got that older cousin from the Heights.
Yeah,
that come down, spend the summer with
Yeah.
you, and she brought rap into my crib. My parents was pissed.
How old are you now?
I'm 31.
31.
Yeah.
That's funny.
My parents was pissed, bro, because from that day forward, I'm like, yo, mom, this what I'm doing. This what I want to do.
What was your parents listening to?
The classics, man. You know, Aventura, Monchi,
The classics.
Alessandra.
You hear this shit?
all that.
Anthony Santo.
All that, yeah.
You don't know nothing about this.
Of course I do, man. Aventura, that's from the Bronx. So you ain't even know that. What you talking about?
That's the only reason why you know about it, because he's in the Bronx?
They went to Roosevelt High School, bro.
Yeah.
Word.
All right.
They used to sit on Fordham Road and perform outside before bachata was huge.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like nobody was really listening to bachata yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, man, them dudes is legendary. You won't probably hear them saying it, but they from the Bronx. You just find you.
Nah,
today,
you hear it all the time. They be like, BX, boogie down. And the bachata song, that's what we hear.
No, that's a fact. Shout out to Romeo Santos, super legend.
I want to get into a more intense topic with you. We know you battle mental health issues. How did it come about, and when did you start noticing that? Tell us a little bit about how you managed that.
Yeah. When did it come about and when did I notice it?
I don't think people take mental health serious. Like they should.
Yeah, like it's,
You know what I'm saying? I don't know why.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think I was one of those people that didn't really. But mental health is
especially
serious.
in black and brown communities, we taught it's like doesn't exist. Like,
Yeah.
that's
They
not
think they could
real.
beat. They
Especially
think they could
Dominican
beat anything
moms,
out of
they're
us.
like, you're not crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I go to therapy now. My mom still to this day tells me, why you need a therapist? You're not crazy. And it's
Yeah,
like, Mom, therapist is not for crazy people.
That's
They're
facts,
for
yo.
Sane people.
That's a fact.
When I realized it was when I was dealing with the relationship that I told y'all about. Now that I'm older, I know it came a lot earlier, but that's when it was really like dominant, when it's just like I wanted to kill myself over this person, you know, because this person wanted to leave me. But now I understand that my it really stems from like abandonment issues.
Right.
That stem from even earlier, which is why I even looked at this person as, you know, you start with the mother. The mother is the first person you love. You know, that's your first love. And then
Facts.
depending on how that creates the trauma. And now it's like, now you're looking for that love in somebody else.
Right.
So the first time I realized it was probably when I was like 17, 18. Like, bro, I didn't want, like, if me and this girl was beefing, even when we was good, bro, I'd be praying to God, like, damn, why can't I get the strength to leave this?
Right.
It was like 2 years, bro. I used to cut my wrist.
You was cutting your wrist.
Huh?
You was cutting your wrist.
Yeah, I was cutting my wrist. I didn't want to be here.
Right,
Like,
right.
I didn't want to live. And it's like, I didn't want to leave my family either. So it's like, you just torn in the middle. But it was just like that pain of somebody not loving you back.
Right.
And I mean, I think it just comes with lack of self-awareness, lack of not knowing who you are. And then, you know, that led to a point where I actually tried to take my life, and I went in my mom's bathroom, and I don't remember what it was, but I just took the whole jar of shit and passed out and woke up in the hospital. And then I wake up from the hospital, and I'm like, where the phone at? Where the phone at? Like, I gotta call her.
Right.
And
She was like a drug, man.
yeah, and it's like, yo, I gotta call her. And the doctor's like, nah, you can't. And I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. And they're like, nah, you can't go. Like, you gotta get Baker acted. I'm like, what you mean?
Yeah.
And they're like, you gotta go to the, we gotta keep you for 3
They
days.
keep
I'm like,
you. Yeah.
And at this time, like, I had records with Nelly and shit. I'm showing these, I got songs with Nelly, bro. Like,
Right,
I'm good, bro. Like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
And I get to the place, I get my first phone call, try to call her. You know, she's like, yo, they told me not to talk to you. And when I was there, man, it was just like a humbling experience, because I seen people who had it a lot worse. Like,
Yeah.
and when I got in there was no room on this side, so they put me on the intense side, bro. So I'm hearing shit, like wild shit, while I'm trying to sleep. And
Made you realize you wasn't that bad, though.
but see, like, the guards treated us all the same.
Right.
Like, I was just as, you feel me? So
Right.
that's when I started. And then, you know, I'll never forget, there was this one kid like, yo, when I get out of here, I'm gonna just come right back, cause I'm gonna just kill myself again. And that's when I started to realize, like, oh, there's people that's really, you feel me, like fighting
disturbed.
demons.
Yeah.
And it was a battle that I fought for a long time. You know,
It's definitely a demon.
It wasn't that extreme, but like when I feel like I finally got right is when I began therapy.
Right.
Because now I was able to I started to understand
Right.
what things happened to me in my childhood that I misinterpreted and created these traumas, because that's what traumas are.
Correct.
You know, so.
I think people, like you said, people who don't have the know-how, when they see someone seeking therapy, the first thing they think is, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
But how do you exercise your mind?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you go to the government, they're gonna put you on drugs right away. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I don't think that if you get on drugs, whatever drug it is, you're gonna become
Right.
addicted to it and you're
Right.
gonna rely on it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But it's all a mental thing, man. So